Okay guys, Ted Burkholder here. Today I'm going to cover how to create a custom opt-in form inside of Aweber. Now you can use the same principles, these same ideas to create anything really, whether it be maybe like a lightbox pop-up for your blog, that sort of thing. But today I'm going to be creating a sidebar for a WordPress blog, the sidebar opt-in form. Here's my blog for example. I know that my sidebar, my opt-in form on my sidebar is 260 pixels wide. So I would just open up Photoshop, which for some reason has been kind of giving me hell lately, and it's taking a long time to open. But you're going to open Photoshop, create a new image. We're going to go 260 pixels wide, maybe 700 high. Make sure that's got a transparent background. Okay. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to this shape tool. Pick rounded rectangle tool. And you're going to go almost corner to corner from top to bottom. Now I don't like that red, so what I'll do is I'll double click in my layer, gradient overlay, and I'll pick something like this. Kind of adjust that a little bit. Alright, I like that. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and get a couple graphics that I have set to the side here. Open up that one, open up that one, and maybe this one. Okay. I'm gonna have to shrink this one down because it's pretty big. 600. Make sure you're on. Whenever time you're resizing an image in Photoshop, make sure you're clicking constrain proportions. That way, when you shrink it. Shrink the width, it'll also shrink the height. It'll keep the image uniform. So we're going to take this down to maybe 230, I'd say. Yeah, sounds about right. Select all, edit, copy. Going to go back to your opt-in form. We're going to paste that in there. Move that up to the top. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to put some text in here. Can barely read that. What we're going to do is we're going to take that up to 40. Yeah, 48's that's pretty good. Okay, now what you can do is when you select your layer that you want to work with here, you can press Control T and you can spin that kind of sideways. You can turn it around. You can do whatever you want to. It's pretty cool. Apply your transformation. Okay, done. Now what we're going to do is take this image. Obviously that's going to have to be shrunken down as well. Constrain proportions. Let's make that 225. Select all, edit, copy, paste. Put that at the bottom of the form like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do something kind of different here. We're going to create some text. Let me pick a different font. Loaded up so many fonts in here. Okay. Now let's shrink that down a little bit. 48's obviously way too big. 14's too small. 24. That's about right. to write something in here. I wouldn't recommend using it. It doesn't have to be true. I'm just creating an example here. Alright, that looks good. What we'll do here is I'll bring it down. Maybe create a stroke over that text. Okay. Let me move this up a little bit here. Alright. Now what we can do is we can actually save this. You're going to save it as a PNG. So these little edges, these will stay transparent. This will be basically a transparent PNG image. So you're going to save PNG. You name it like background. I'll save it right on my desktop. Okay. Now you'll see it right here. Now what we can do is we're going to go ahead and take that and we're going to upload it FTP. I was already in my right account. I created a demo folder for this. Desktop, created background.png. We'll upload that. So one of the websites I uploaded it to was myhostedmedia.com/demo/background.png. Okay, now we're just going to go into Aweber. Log in. Okay. On my lists, let's do it in an empty list. I don't know if I have an empty list. No, I don't have an empty list. I'm going to create a new web form. Body. Now this is the background image where we just put that image at. That was it. www.myhostedmedia.com/demo/background.png. Okay, we gotta do a couple things here. That is gonna have to be 260. We'll get rid of all these little email privacy, the footers, all that stuff. You're going to want to get rid of the border. No border. Okay, now we're going to go back to not body, we're going to stay on body. We're going to click these little chains because we're going to have to edit some padding here. And what that means is, say, the padding from the top. We're going to need to move name and email down, obviously. So we're going to increase the padding on the top. So we'll make this, let's go to 100 to see where it puts us. Not enough. 200. Still not enough. Let's go to 300. Okay. 350. Actually, let's take it back up because we're going to have our submit button down here. So let's take it back up to 300. Okay, now we're going to do our padding from the bottom to show the whole image. We're going to do... No. Almost. Yeah, look at that. That's almost perfect. Okay, now what we're going to do is I like to do a couple different things here. I'm going to go into the labels. I like to put the name and email to the side instead of over top. So if that's the case, we can actually take this padding and move it down a little bit more. Okay, now we'll need to move it from the right a little bit, maybe a little bit more. That might have been a little too much. You just got to play around with it. It's actually pretty easy to do once you get the hang of it. I like to make my lines bold, kind of stand out. Okay. Bold. Okay. And you know what? Let me add phone number to this field also. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. It's like I nitpick until I find something I like, you know. So what we're also going to do now is we're going to go back, because I forgot to do this at first. Inside this various where I keep some graphics here, there's also a custom button I made. Let me in. It'll be a PNG file. I'm going to go ahead and take that. Desktop, various, let me in the PNG, move that over. Okay, now it's going to be your button. So let me go get this link, because the link is almost identical except for the name of the image itself. Submit button. Let me in. PNG. Okay, I'm gonna center that. It's kind of overlapping her head a little bit, but you get the basic idea. Now you can just take this image, and then from here you should be good. You know, you'll just take it, you'll save your web form. You go to step 2, your settings, and you'll name your web form. You'll decide where you want to send people, whether you want to send them to a custom URL, stay on a current page, or a basic version of a thank you page, that sort of thing. Going to publish it. This is going to be the link for your form right here. So if you were just to oh, you know what? No, that's a JavaScript. What am I thinking? Have Aweber host my form. Oh, I can't believe I did that. There's the link. Yeah, so basically now if you just... There's your opt-in form that you just created. It's pretty simple. It doesn't take any time at all. You know, especially once you get used to working in Photoshop. I'm not sure how familiar you are with Photoshop. It's actually really easy once you kind of play around with it. But then you can really create some nice professional opt-in forms like this. I mean, and I didn't plan this or anything. This literally just takes a few minutes to create the graphic, upload it to, you know, you can put it in Photo Bucket as long as you have the link, the URL to the image for the for Aweber. And like I said, it's pretty simple. And that's it, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks a lot.